I am from beyond. Listen, and all you desire will be yours. Welcome to Spider-Dan and the Secret Doors. Prepare for Prattle.
Nativity Stories. Welcome to Prattle World. I am your host, the ever-amazing, ever-spectacular Spider-Dan. And in this podcast, I spotlight entertainment's best-kept secrets that a mainstream audience may find boring. And welcome to Alternativity Stories, a month-long look at alternative stories set around the most wonderful time of the year. And it truly is. I know there's been a bit of a wait for all these, but it looks like I'm going to have to slam quite a few podcasts together in quick succession, as I've not recorded. And this says we're kind of mid-December now.
You can do it. I believe in you.
I've got a bit of hard work to do, but I have welcomed my first guest of this wonderful month, and it is Mr. Ben Crampton.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Thanks for having me.
It is a pleasure. Thank you for having me in your home. It's a lovely house.
Yes, thank you. This is a pretty professional outlet right now in my kitchen with leftover shepherd's pie on the side.
Mince pies with less mince and, dead reindeers.
Smells very festive.
Yes. Yeah. I feel you've been roasting my chestnuts, so, it's one of those days.
What's a man to do this time of year?
You've got to roast them chestnuts. So, enough chestnut roasting.
Yes.
Let's get on. Let's get on with this.
Let's crack on. I haven't got time to wait around. We've got 11 days.
11 days
to
till
go.
Christmas. Yeah. So have you been naughty or have you been nice?
Don't think Santa would agree with a lot of the things that come out of my mouth. But in terms of my actions, I feel like I'm a good person.
I feel
like I'm nice.
I get that vibe. I get that vibe from you.
I just, maybe a little bit too dark for a traditional Santa Claus's.
Speaking of dark, non-traditional Santa Clauses,
that was my segue.
Nice. That was a good segue. That was well planned, and I feel like it works. Mm-hmm. So, we're here to talk about our top 5 killer Santas.
Yes, now these guys would like me.
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, you're not getting a lump of coal, you'll probably get a severed head, perhaps.
Fantastic.
So these are across all of media we've looked. You've delved deep, you've done a deep dive, you've done some research. I've done my own research.
Yes.
So we're talking films, comics, music videos, I don't know. Anything with a potential Santa that kills in some form when they do a murder.
I didn't even think of music videos as a media.
It just came into my head then. I don't know if there is.
Now we need to search the back catalogue of Britney Spears and see
how many killer
Santas were in her videos.
Maybe, there might be some in some metal, some heavy metal.
Marilyn Manson. That I feel like at some point Marilyn Manson has had a killer Santa in a video.
He must have done a metal version of some sort of.
I saw Mummy killing Santa Claus or something like that, yeah.
Roasting chestnuts! Something like that. So I probably should have thought about music videos myself, but no. I've not picked any from music videos. I don't know about yourself.
No films, comics, TV.
Yes. So we're going to start listing our top 5 killer Santas. List your own, or let us know if you have any of your own. I've had a little bit of listener feedback. We've got some comments.
Okay.
So we can talk about them at the end. But let's start, since you are the guest, and this is my Christmas gift to you, I'll let you go first.
Wow. I didn't ask for that gift, but I'm thankful for it. Like shower gel and socks.
Aftershave.
No, I need that.
I definitely need that.
Right, so
I
want to give a disclaimer, Dan, because you say your top 5 favourite killer Santas.
Yes.
Not going to lie, it's traditionally probably not a top 5 that I've always had in my head.
No, it's a unique one.
I've never seen a killer Santa and gone, that's going in my top 5. So I kind of had to go, step back a little bit and think, I might need to do a bit of research here, I might need to see what I can find out there and experience some new things. So some of these are compiled from new experiences for me. I might not have enjoyed those experiences,
but
I'm going to bring them to the table nevertheless.
Fair play.
And also, I don't have access to like good streaming and things like that. My
Only bad streaming. Only bad streaming.
well, Amazon Prime, which is limited streaming.
Yeah.
When you're looking for killer Santas. So
Perhaps, yes.
my first is a film called Secret Santa, which can be found on Amazon.
Amazon Prime. Cool.
Yep. I was quite surprised that these films that are on the borderline of being student films have got onto Amazon Prime.
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of an easy sell with Killer Santa. If someone goes Killer Santa, they go, "Oh, I want to watch that," or it might be like, "I can get funding for that."
Yeah.
I think that was the same with a lot of horror films back in the day. Like, you need a bit of funding, you go, or if you were starting out in the film industry, you need to make a big splash. You would always go with a horror movie.
Yeah, and make a good poster, and people are on board,
Yeah.
and then they watch the film, and they're very disappointed. So, on that note, Secret Santa. Now, the poster is amazing. So, you've got like a really nice, a decent Santa Claus outfit, which is always appreciated. He's holding a sledgehammer, big
Cool.
Triple H style sledgehammer.
Peter Gabriel style.
Yeah, and he's wearing like a robber's mask. So it's kind of Santa, but with like the, rubber sock over the head with the poked out eyes.
Balaclava type
Balaclava,
thing,
that's the
yeah.
one. Looked really cool. I was like, okay, this is going to be different. Watch the film. No one's actually dressed as Santa. So it turns out that...
Was that the secret after all?
well, yeah. And you know how you're sometimes disappointed with your Secret Santa?
Yeah.
No offence this year. Wine was fine, but easy. So it turns out that the Santa was just in this kind of rubbish black lycra top and bottom drama studio, style outfit.
Right.
Yeah, looked like he was like...
Turned up for the audition. They were like, "You're
Yeah.
hired."
It just looked like he
filming
was
now.
like helping in the production of Wicked behind the scenes or something. Like it was
got the
a
turtleneck.
very disappointing attire considering the theme.
Yeah.
It's Christmas. There's so much that you can do
The
with that.
thing is, you're literally looking for Killer Santa movies. So the fact that you turn on something that's called Secret Santa
with a Santa on the front.
Santa on the front,
Yeah.
and you turn it on, and it's got nothing to do with Santa.
Yeah, I felt slightly hoodwinked, I'm not going to lie. And it was also rubbish. So lots of very grainy footage. It's like they thought, well, we can cover up the fact this is maybe a bad film if we make that footage a little bit grainier. Oh, I like the grain. Just keep that on for the whole film.
Just rub some sand all over the print.
Yeah, there was some cool kind of concepts to it. So the idea is that the Secret Santa gives you a gift by surprise and by secret. And the gift is often your demise. So it will represent the way you are going to die. So
Kind of like a teaser.
yeah, so someone got a power drill. And of course, then the eyeball is taken out with the power drill, which, to be fair, was quite a cool little killing.
Yeah.
There was some inventive stuff there. Throughout the film, they try to be funnier than what they actually are. And it probably went for about 50 minutes without Santa being, the killer, esque characters being in it for probably about 2 minutes max. There was not enough killer in this killer film.
So that's quite a slow burn.
It's a very slow burn. Yeah.
If it's already poor with poor acting and production values, you kind of want to get to the killings quicker.
Yeah. But on the plus side, we got like a full frontal penis severing.
Wow.
Which nearly turned things around for me.
That's pretty full on.
I think the only other film I've ever seen that in is Cannibal Holocaust.
Okay, yeah.
Unless anyone else wants to send Dan movies
Images,
that have full frontal, not images because you can be arrested for that, but just point you in the right direction, maybe.
Unsolicited dick slicing movies. I don't particularly want my inbox full of those.
Get on Tinder for one night and that will happen. It turns out the Secret Santa killer is more than one person.
Okay.
And it's these kind of silly comedy relief carol singers that appear throughout the film. Turns out they're really weird. And that's pretty much it. I want to sell it to you more. I want to give you more of an in-depth analysis of said characters, but there really isn't any. And it does the kind of classic thing. One of them survives out of the like 3 carol singers at the end, and it does the traditional 1 year later type scene, and of course it's Christmas
teasing
again.
A possible sequel.
Yeah, which I don't think they got. So that's my first of the top 5.
Okay.
And all I can say is that things will get better.
I certainly hope so, because that does not sound like it sounds more like a bottom 5 than a top 5.
So let's just, mine are the bottom 5 Killer Santas, and you represent 5. The top.
Yep, we can do that. We can do that.
Commit to that for now.
Okay.
Mine do get better though, but for now maybe that's the safest option.
All right, well I'll start with mine.
Please.
So mine is from a very popular cartoon series.
Okay.
It's very long running. And it is Santa Claus.
Right.
From South Park.
Amazing. One of my favourite TV shows, can I add?
Yes, one of the best.
Growing up with that sick sense of humour, and it really comes across.
Definitely, anal probing. I mean, that's the first episode, so... Yeah.
Anal probing and fart jokes, but it's evolved into, like, more kind of satirical...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, hating of the establishment, trolling...
I mean, one of my favourite episodes is the Goobacks.
Okay, amazing.
Which is the whole immigrants from the future coming to get a better life and sending their money back. I think that's just quality satire at its peak.
Yeah,
and it's one of the best.
Do you remember the episode? See what I did there? Remember the episode?
Remember Wookiees?
Remember Coon and Friends? That's probably my favourite, Coon and Friends, with Mintberry Crunch.
Oh god, yeah, and Cthulhu, Cartman and Cthulhu. I think they make almost a perfect pairing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So specifically, I wanted to choose a Killer Santa that was not necessarily evil.
No, they paint him as a very nice guy, Santa.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy. He's very amiable. He's very happy. He's for all intents and purposes, he is what you would think of as Santa. He is the real Santa. He is Saint Nicholas. He has all the abilities that Saint Nicholas has, not a guy pretending to be.
I never pictured him with the voice of Matt Parker Trestone.
No. And I'm going to specify one episode specifically. He has killed in other episodes like Christmas Critters and various others, but I'm going to specify in Red Sleigh Down.
Okay.
So
this is an amazing title.
So good. Obviously, it's a parody of Black Hawk Down. And Cartman is trying to get off the naughty list, and he's got this kind of little accountant who's kind of figured out that he needs to, if he wants to get off the naughty list, he needs to like cure cancer by tomorrow. Okay. So he's like, what can I do? What can I possibly do?
It's a big ask.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, I don't want coal this year. I really need to get this present. So he decides to contact Santa. And he said he's been watching the news, and he says we're gonna bring Christmas to the people of Iraq. So Santa agrees, and they all jump in the sleigh.
It's about time that the commercialism of Santa and Christmas reached
Iraq.
Yes,
because clearly the country
they're desperate for it.
They're desperate. They've been asking for it for years, obviously. But no, and he's on his way. He's, dropping the presents. Yeah. Doing his Santa thing. And then these Islamic extremists shoot Santa down, shoot his sleigh down. And the elves are like, got a red sleigh down, and he smashes, and they catch him, they take him. And they're like, what are you doing here, my man? What are you doing here, my man? And then they start torturing him, and he's like, I just wanted to bring Christmas. And they take his trousers off, and they shock Santa's balls. And Santa goes, not Santa's balls! And they shock his balls. So that's something I don't think I'd ever thought I'd see on television.
No, but you're glad you did.
I'm so glad I did. And so what are the boys to do? How are they to save Santa? They ask for help from the only source available, Jesus Christ.
It's the traditional South Park way.
Yes, and that's the only way.
If in doubt, Jesus.
Which is interesting, because the first test of animation that the guys did for South Park was actually Santa versus Jesus. Yeah. So
it's like they've been trying to get cancelled from the very beginning. Even before they were given the show, they were like, how can we offend people?
How do we get as much offence out of this as possible? So their friendships obviously evolved. But a bit like, Batman versus Superman, Justice League, kind of like that. It evolves.
Very similar.
Yeah, quite similar. So Jesus
Just
goes
white guys in weird costumes
Pretty much.
fighting. So
Yeah, why not? Why not?
There you go.
Pretty much. I mean, they're both very Santa-esque, I guess. Actually, I read a holiday special recently where Superman goes to dress up as Santa and visit a child because he doesn't believe in Santa.
Okay.
And Batman's like, "What are you doing? You should be saving the world. You should be doing all this other stuff. Don't worry about this kid. Forget it. You've got the real Christmas gift is you saving the world." And then he's like, "Oh, okay then." And then he's like, "Well, I've got the presents. Might as well deliver them." He goes back to the house and Batman is dressed as Santa and he's done it. And he gets so pissed off he punches Batman in the face.
Brilliant.
And that's how the comic ends.
That's literally represents why I like Batman, like making out that Superman's a dick.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Come on, where are your responsibilities?
Well,
and then actually going and doing it.
He's being a bigger dick.
Yeah, and taking the credit. Yeah.
But yeah, so Jesus rescues Santa and he dies in the process of saving Santa.
Jesus dies.
Yeah.
Again.
For his sins. And then Santa shoots the guy who shocked his balls because he was questioning whether he should shoot the guy who shot.
So it's just the one kill, is it?
No, that's the first one he does.
Right.
So the guy the head terrorist who's like shocking his balls is like because he shoots and you don't see the aftermath of the shot.
Okay.
He's like, I couldn't do it. But he shocked Santa's balls, and then it cuts to the guy with a bullet in his head, and then Jesus dies, and on the way out, of course, Santa dual wields M16 rifles, and is shooting his way out, and they get on the sleigh with Mr. Hankey's in there as well. Of course, you can't have a Christmas episode without Mr. Hankey.
No, it would be wrong.
Exactly,
the Christmas like defiling Christmas
and defiling South Park.
Yeah,
and then they go and then Santa parks down at South Park, drops the kids off, and he says, "Christmas shouldn't be about presents and giving and Santa. We should remember someone who sacrificed his life. Jesus. Christmas should all be about Jesus." And that's how the episode ends.
Yeah.
You know it. So I think that's a good choice. And
it's a great choice.
Why, thank you. So I'm looking to hear your next choice. What could your next choice?
Well, let's bring the expectations down again for my next one.
Well, we're increasing in quality, like you said.
Yeah,
slowly but surely.
Yeah. So the next one is another Amazon special, if you will.
Amazon special. It's like
when I say special, I mean
it's like a midnight special.
Dead by Christmas. So again, quite student filmy, very very low budget. An improvement though, we actually did have a Santa killer now.
Okay,
so
cool.
Someone in a Santa costume.
So it's a full Santa, yeah.
Not just Santa in the title. So we're making progress.
We're
and
improving.
It's quite a cool costume. It's got like a creepy Santa mask that's almost like one of those old 1940s like PVC doll faces. It's weird, and it works.
Sounds creepy.
Yeah, the gore is pretty bad because of the low budget. I mean, at one point, I'm pretty sure I could see jelly in the guts.
Really?
If anything, it made me hungry. But what happens is Santa in this one, he gives like a charm gift, similar to like I think Krampus traditionally sometimes gives like a charm or a bell or something like that. And it's, oh no, Krampus is coming. That's not a euphemism for me coming to get you. Krampus, obviously the mythological.
Of course, not yourself. Because you're.
How would you describe actually Krampus? That's quite hard. Mythological beast. Fiend.
I mean, if we believe in the, is it a myth? I mean, you could argue it's if Saint Nicholas exists, if he's a saint, and if we're going in the religious realms, you could argue it's not a myth, but you could argue it is a myth.
Well, you're probably speaking to the wrong person.
I guess he's kind of like a satyr or like a goat person, or a demon, something along those.
You know what? I'm an atheist, but the kind of bombardment, in culture, growing up, everything like that goats are bad, have really made an effect on me. I cannot be around. That was bad. I can't be around them. I can't be around goats.
You don't like goats?
No, the look in their eyes, I can see where the stories have come from.
Me and my sister, we went to this big kind of farming thing years ago when we were kids, and she was very young and she was trying to feed the goats. And there's this huge hill. I remember my grandmother, my mother, and I were at the bottom of the hill, and she was trying to feed the goats, and she was like shaking the bag, and all the food was coming out, and she wasn't doing it properly, like bit by bit. And all we heard was her scream and run down this hill while throwing all this feed, and all the goats are running
herd
out.
of evil.
Yeah, it was just like a wave of evil goats going, nyeh, nyeh, just running down after her. I found it hilarious.
But at some point, a goat must have done something so bad for someone to draw a picture in a book and say, that's Satan. That's,
true.
You know, that represents Satan.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
So,
I mean, the earliest depiction of Satan would be a snake, I guess, or
yeah,
evil.
so snakes at some point have done something so bad.
Really bad, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll
go.
never know.
Well, that's another podcast for another time.
A theological podcast.
So yeah, the Dead by Christmas,
yes.
given the Krampus style charm, and then the kill scenes are pretty cool. You've got at one point he cuts cookie gingerbread men shapes out of your skin and cooks them and serves them to someone. He's got a sharp candy cane weapon, which I thought was quite a cool, inventive Killer Santa tool.
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, though, that the candy canes that I see are often very small and probably far too brittle to actually cause damage.
Bit flimsy.
But this is a nice, chunky chode of a candy cane.
Chode of a candy cane.
Yeah.
Some thick Blackpool rock.
Yeah, it's a Blackpool rock candy cane weapon. Let's make a horror film set in Blackpool and those other weapons.
I mean, I just have to turn on my camera, really.
Just open their coat with candy cane, sharpened candy rocks.
Yeah, they've got a big trench
side.
coat, and they're like, you want some of these?
Yeah, let's get to the ballroom.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure it's going to get off the ground.
To die.
That's on tonight. Right, so, yes, and so very good weapons, an improvement on that front as well. At one point, they make a tree using corpse.
And they leave.
Yeah.
Make a tree and leave.
Oh. God. How do you mute your mic?
No, I should just... I'll let you do solo. I'll let you go solo, because this isn't working.
But the tree with that's quite a cool idea. I hadn't seen that yet. That was quite inventive, and it looked all right considering the bad effects earlier in the film. Maybe the budget went on mangling someone into a Christmas tree.
I mean, you've got last film you've got penis severing, and this you've got all these kind of inventive kills.
Yes.
So I'm feeling the more inventive kills.
Another kind of mystery one as well in terms of who's the killer. A lot of these kind of slasher-esque films are. So who is the killer, Dan? You don't ask.
I don't.
I'm going to tell you.
Please.
Anyway,
spoilers.
It's spoilers for anyone that. I'll never get this time back, so I wouldn't recommend. But it turns out that the killer is the sister, the mum that's kind of cared for these irritating teenagers when they were kids, and it was the sister and this guy, this very kind of abusive Christian hardcore, guy. He used to put on this Santa outfit and basically abuse the children, sexually abuse the children.
Oh, that's not nice.
He died anyway, and as the kids have got older, the sister feels guilty, and she's developed a Saint Nick obsession to honour the late rapey Christian man. And to avenge him, she's put on this Santa outfit that he used to wear and basically started killing off the adults, one by one.
Yeah.
Again, another solid 1 year later flash forward at the end of the film. One of them, I think, ends up in a vegetative state at the end. And she's kind of covered it up very well. So obviously still at large, ready for Dead by Christmas 2, that thankfully never got made. So that's
Dead by Christmas 2, dead again.
I mean, if they needed the title, you've given them it.
I've done it.
Let's not give them anything else.
Yeah, we don't give them any more ideas.
Give them the film, for Christ's sake. So that's my second bad Killer Santa film.
Second
again, not meeting the criteria that was asked of me, but we'll go with it.
Well,
give me a good one, please.
Okay, right. So we're going to go a little international for this one, a little bit more. We're going.
I'm a man of the world.
Yeah, let's go.
I've been to Spain.
You've been to Spain once?
Yes.
Yeah, Barcelona.
I've been to France.
France. Speaking of France.
I just
You
create
do
these
it.
segues
You do. We're on
off the cuff.
We're on the same wavelength. You and I. We're vibing. We're vibing.
Tell me more about this French film.
French film. So it is called. The original name is the Santa is Père Noël, which is French for Father Christmas.
Thank you for the translation. I got an F in French.
That's all right. So did I. And the film is called 3615 Code Père Noël. It's also known as Deadly Games, Game Over, Dial Code Santa Claus, and Hide and Freak.
Okay. The last title was the best one.
I agree.
A lot of the others don't roll off the tongue. I'm not going to lie to you. Whether they roll off the tongue in French, I doubt.
3615 Code Père Noël it's a bit of a mouthful.
What is free in French? Una, dos, tres, no. I don't know. But it probably doesn't roll off the tongue. Trois. How long? We haven't got long enough to work it out.
If you're French, tell us. I do have listeners in all over the world. So if you're French, we're sorry for butchering your beautiful language. But it is basically this child prodigy who's very much into like action movies and is a bit of a computer whiz as well, a computer genius. Lives in this big mansion. His mum works away and he lives there with his nearly blind diabetic grandfather who he loves so much. He doesn't really he's homeschooled, so he doesn't really have that many friends and stuff like that. So he lives in these kind of fantasy worlds and online and stuff. So some kid has told him that Santa doesn't exist and it's upset him and it's made him worry. And
little bastard.
I know, exactly. And who does that? Come on, kids. Don't do that to other kids. So what he does, this is around 1989, so there was some form of kind of internet, dial-up modem connection.
Yes, with the kind of black screen and the green-white writing. Mr. Blue and Mr.
Exactly.
Red. Yeah.
Exactly. We had some sort of computers. We're not back in the Stone Age. We did have some stuff back then. So what he does is he basically sends an email to Santa. He sends out a message and says, Santa, please come to my house. I really want to see you this year. And it's intercepted by a murderous homeless man who there's like this kind of almost like a public access to the internet, kind of like a little telephone booth almost.
Right.
But it's very basic kind of internet. And he basically says, what's your address? And this homeless guy's going around, he's killing people, and he kills a guy who is about to dress up like Santa. He's gonna go around and be Santa. He dresses up like him. And this woman, he sits there as Santa, like spray paints his beard, all this, comes over, and this little girl's like, oh, Santa, Santa. And he just punches this little girl in the face, like straight up. And her mum's like, what are you doing?
I'd probably have a stronger reaction to that if my kid was punched in the face.
I'm not even sure. You know what? I'm not even sure if it was the mother. I think the mother was somewhere else. I think this was just a stranger who was just like...
Oh, in that case, the girl deserves it just to teach the mum a lesson not to leave her on creepy Santas.
So this guy has got the address of the kid. Yeah. And the mum's away, and it's just him and his grandfather. And
what is with all these irresponsible
I don't know.
Parents.
It's 1989.
If he's with a blind diabetic old man, it's basically like leaving him by himself anyway.
Speaking of irresponsible parents, this film is quite famous for suing the makers of Home Alone.
Right.
Because it is basically a home invasion movie, and the little boy has to defend his house and his grandfather from this killer Santa who turns up and eats. And it's a lot darker, and there's not as much humour in it.
No.
Straight away, Santa comes down the chimney. First thing he does, stab a dog. So it's more like Home Alone meets Halloween.
Joe Pesci would never do that.
Exactly. And they're not wet bandits.
He'd swear at the dog, but he wouldn't stab it.
Yeah, and like it's quite brutal. The stabbing.
You see it, and
Still see the dog get stabbed. Yeah.
I hate when dogs are. I get more upset if a dog's killed in a film.
Really?
Than
some other person, some other human.
Yeah.
Rubbish. But yeah, so that's the first thing. And this kid has to now defend his home and his grandfather from... Now, this isn't like Batman or Kevin McAllister. He's got no prep time.
Okay.
Like, he's just literally
sprung on him,
improvising. And he's got this big house he can sneak around, and there's secret passages and trapdoors and various other things. But he's still, just a kid. And this is like a lot darker, there's less humour involved. There's still a lot of like heart and, it's a kid and stuff. But it's really like tense and like it's just an impressive film. I don't think it ever got a decent release over in the UK or necessarily in the US, but it is available on YouTube with subtitles. The quality is not very good, but you can watch it. I watched
That's the whole film, or is it like
film.
part one part?
No, whole film. Whole film. You just
okay.
watch it in one go. Just put in the title 3615 Code Père Noël, if you can spell that, and it should come up. But it's absolutely fantastic. It's a lot of fun, but it's a lot darker than what you'd expect. And I don't really get the very different films. Home Alone and this are very different films. They're not the same. There's similarities, sure, but they're not the same. They're very different. I'm going to spoil the end.
Okay.
I'm going to spoil the end. He manages he hides his grandfather in a suit of armour, and he starts having like a kind of a diabetic. He needs his insulin basically, and he's kind of having a fit or what have you. Right at the end, he's finally the Santa's got hold of the little kid. He's about to kill him. He's got a policeman that came, and he got the policeman's gun, so that gets knocked in front of the almost blind grandfather, and the grandfather manages to shoot the Santa at the last minute before the kid gets stabbed to death.
I mean, that's a stroke of luck that the kid wasn't shot by
exactly,
his blind grandfather, who was also in a suit of armour.
I think he's fallen out of the armour by this point.
Okay.
But yeah, he's
I currently imagined like a knight.
Just like that, yeah.
Like waving a gun around aimlessly. Okay. That would have been funny.
That would have been funny. But no, he's fallen out and he's trying to...
Okay.
Because I think the kid tries to get him out because obviously he's not well, so he's trying to strip him of the armour. Yeah. And he shoots the Santa dead, but the kid is just sat there distraught and devastated because he thinks he's killed the real Santa. He thinks he's responsible because he doesn't know. He believes in Santa, and that's the whole point of the film. He believes that Santa's real, and for some reason, the Santa just wants to kill him and everybody else.
So the whole film, he's just confused that Santa's trying to kill him.
Yeah, and it's not like Kevin McAllister or anything. You know, he's crying, he's upset. He cries for his mum. You know, it's not like Kevin McAllister. Like he'll be fine.
You never
Kevin
worry McAllister is one of the most unbelievable, like sociopathic children in cinematic history.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't cry once. He's not fazed.
No, he's abandoned. He's not that fussed. But this kid is like, he goes through the ringer. He absolutely goes through. He gets
maybe the Santa is Kevin McAllister. Like that's who he grew into being.
He grew into a psychopath.
Psychopathic.
Travelled to France. Yeah. I mean, because he does speak, but I don't think he speaks very often. The Santa, but he is like a Michael Myers. You don't really know his motivation. He's just doing it because he wants to do it.
Which sometimes we don't need to know why. No. Like it
kind of makes it more scary.
Yeah, and part of the fun is kind of double guessing backstories and motifs and yeah.
But I highly recommend this one. It's a lot of fun, and it's a nice foreign film. If you can deal with subtitles, I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. And it's shot so well. It's a gorgeous film.
I've only ever seen one other French film the whole way through, and that's The Artist.
I think I've only seen Amélie.
Right, okay.
It's my other I do need to dip into more French film. I'm trying to think of... I do like... who does Leon? Who's Leon? Who directed Leon? I can't remember his name.
Don't ask me.
Yeah, sorry.
You know what I'm like.
He's a French guy.
It's all directed by Martin Scorsese.
Valerian, he did that as well.
Right.
Forget it. It's fine. I'll figure it out later.
But yes, we need to be
someone's
more cultured,
screaming this.
basically.
Someone's screaming this at us. I know his name. I love it. Danny Aiello actually died the other day as well. Who was a star of Leon. Speaking of which,
right? Okay.
Have you seen Leon?
No, I have not.
You'd love it.
Worth a watch.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Gary Oldman, Natalie Portman, Jean Reno.
You had me at Gary.
There you go. Boom. And he's
and when you said Natalie,
yeah,
I was bored and on board.
He's peak crazy Gary at this moment as well.
Amazing.
It's amazing. Just watch it.
Crazy Gary is the best kind of Gary.
That's the best kind of Gary you want.
Yeah.
But so highly recommend 3615 Code Père Noël, or
sounds great.
Hide and Freak, as we prefer the title.
We're going to stick with that.
We'll stick with Hide and Freak, because I think that is a pretty sick title. I'm surprised
it's a
that's
great
not been
title.
used.
It's a great name for an album, or a band, or
it's just a great name.
A bar, like a goth bar.
Yeah, I could see that.
Are you hanging out at Hide and Freak tonight?
Yeah, Hide and Freak.
Yeah, Hide and Freak for a couple of...
And you could spell it like Mr. Hyde, like with a Y.
Oh, Dan, stop it.
See, I can sell this
Inside,
stuff.
it's all like Hammer Horror Gothic, like...
Yeah. Or you could even split the bar down the middle, and it's freaky on one side, and then a slightly different kind of freaky on the other.
Black, just dark,
just black,
just in darkness. That's a place for you to hide.
Like Batman Forever.
freaks,
Batman Forever, like his Two Faces, like lair, where it's just split down the middle. I think it could be like that.
I try not to speak about that film.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, let's move on to your number 3.
Okay, number 3, things are getting better.
Good.
Okay, things are on the rise.
Yeah.
So, and I'm finally meeting the criteria that you actually asked for originally. This is Silent Night, the 2012 version. It's a loose remake of the 1984 classic.
Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Thank you. And I enjoyed it. It's not perfect.
Yeah.
It's kind of, the acting's pretty poor all round. Okay. I'm not going to lie. But then, slasher films, when's the acting Oscar worthy? I don't think it really is. But so it centres around the sheriff's a sheriff's officer, and she's really bad at acting. Like, I think it opens with her saying, "It's a bad day for me," like something awful happened last year. But then she's chipper as hell in the next scene.
Bit tonally off, maybe.
Yeah, the cast, to be fair, is good. Like, you got Ellen Wong from Knives Chow fame, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Malcolm McDowell, obviously Clockwork Orange icon.
Yeah.
Sometimes icons, you just kind of want to leave where they are. It's like, don't touch something that's so great. Just
just stop.
Do anything else.
Almost like stop
Quit
making
while you're
films.
ahead. Yeah. Malcolm McDowell might be the case.
The
accent, I genuinely am confused. What in his head was the accent? Because it kind of swings from like a Scottish to a British to
American.
like a Southern American and Northern American.
It's a bit all over the place.
It's cross-regional. It's terrible.
I always think with people that, like, if they've got a really strong accent, I just think write it into the script somehow. So say that they're like, I remember in like The Incredible Hulk, they were like. Tim Roth, who's like born in Russia but raised in England.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's it. That's all I need to know. That's why he doesn't have a Russian accent. That's fine.
Side note, but can we bring back the Abomination into the MCU?
Please. And the leader.
Yeah. That's one of the most annoying plot holes in all of the MCU films is that we literally had a setup scene for the leader and what's the actor's name?
Tim Blake Nelson,
who is also in the new Watchmen series and is amazing in it.
He was also technically the mole man in the Fantastic Four reboot that will not be named.
Yeah, that's set up things, but set up things I never want to revisit.
That's one of the worst things I've ever seen. Anyway, yes.
Anyway, sorry. Let's do an episode on bad superhero films because I honestly feel like I could go for 2 hours.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Fantastic Four alone.
So are we going to do like bottom 5?
Yeah, we'll actually I'll do what I'm told for that one. But yes, back to Silent Night. It's almost like a vigilante Santa. In the sense that it feels like the trend is that he's only killing bad people.
Okay.
At one point, he murders like this little girl, but she's so annoying, like to the point where, like, I mean, the actress kind of nailed it because she's just so irritating. He gets her. He kills this like overly creepy priest.
Yeah,
really
touchy,
kind of
he's a bit touchy,
and he like zooms in on boobs when taking pictures.
Oh God, I forgot about that. Yeah, he's like they're all dressed as like little. It's really like Mean Girls, isn't it? All the time.
Yeah, and he like is zooming all kinds of places, and it's
like, one more for look.
It's just so like he plays it in such a hammy way.
Yeah,
no one is that creepy with that and getting away with it. No. You're already locked up by that point
exactly.
if you're that overtly creepy. It's people that maybe, on paper don't deserve it, but when you're watching the film, you want them to get it.
Oh, definitely.
The music's all over the place in it. It does sometimes feel like a bit of a confused film, like it didn't know whether it wanted to be more comedic in some areas or really take itself seriously as a horror genre film or just go with the kind of slasher stuff.
Yeah.
It's at its best when it commits to the slasher style
I think
film.
so too, yeah.
The look of Santa in it with this kind of creepy Purge style Santa mask with these big black holes for eyes.
Yeah, very like vacant.
Yeah, and he's got an axe
soulless
and
eyes.
weapons like that, and the kills in it are great.
He has a flamethrower as well at one point, doesn't he?
Flamethrower, yes,
amazing.
Yeah.
Talk about roasting chestnuts.
Yeah. You've got to roast them. You got to brown those chestnuts.
Oh yeah.
Not anything
crispy. crispy.
No more than browning those bad boys. There's a topless murder scene, so that it ticks that kind of slasher box.
Yeah.
And one of my favourite kills is this Christmas tree wood chipper.
Yes,
so he puts the topless girl into the wood chipper, and obviously she comes out the other side, not looking the same anymore. When it does stuff like that, the film is at its best.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, these are silly. These are already Santa is a silly concept. So to then make a film about what is already a silly concept and then say, right, let's make this a over the top killer film with someone dressing up as that already silly concept.
Yeah.
These films are silly. So the best ones for me are ones that just commit to that.
I think
have fun with it.
I think the slasher genre is full. I think the best horror movies do have humor and are a little tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
I also like slasher films, like you say, where you want to see the people. Like, I'm not a very violent person. I'm quite the pacifist, I like to think. But I think when you show me the worst of the worst, that's why I like a good Punisher comic where I think, I'm like I said, I'm a pacifist. But when you show me people that I think, you need to fucking die.
Yeah.
There's I remember there was
or at least die in a fantasy
setting.
way.
Or an over-the-top, bizarre way.
You know what? Horror fans, when I go to horror conventions, horror fans are the nicest group of fans. Out of all the fandoms I'm into, comic books, Star Wars, Doctor Who, you name it, horror fans are the nicest people. I genuinely believe that. And yet we're all going home and watching these hideous things happen to people.
But I think that's the thing is you kind of get your that violent kick or that aggression, or if you're having a bad day and you're like, I just want to see people just murdered, and it makes you feel better, and
and it marries up so well the Santa concept of have you been naughty or have you been nice. It fits in perfectly to this
killer Santa
vigilante model, and that's why I think Punisher on various occasions has explored Santa storylines or dressed up as Santa.
There's a lot of a lot of Punisher Christmas specials. Loads. But I think it was a good film. I really did enjoy it because I watched it recently as well for research, and I think it was a good shout. I think it's a nice and it's a good horror remake. I think I think it's a quality horror remake. I like the original as well, but it was the original's quite cheesy, where he's just walking around going punish. All this.
It's a sign of the times, the original one, that's for sure.
No problem. Yes, my next one is, I'm going to crack on with mine.
Please do.
So my next one is Santa Claus from DC Comics.
Okay. Amazing.
So he is a metahuman with limited psychic abilities, and he basically he knows whether you've been naughty or nice. He knows that you've cheated on your husband, even if you've not told anybody. He knows. And he dresses up like Santa. He got the name Santa Claus from the Arkham inmates because he has a very strong German accent. And that's why they call him Santa Claus.
I'm interested how that reads on a comic book.
It's very, what's the word? Phonetically done.
Yeah. It's the only way you're going to get that across to the reader. Yeah.
And he's just dressed as Santa. There's nothing too unique about him. But he's got these really bloodshot eyes, which is
like
quite
a stoned Santa.
Yes, pretty much blazed Santa. Had a chronic blunt before he started killing. Anyway, so he hires these kind of kids. And it's Batman trying to catch him. He's killed several people already, and then he's given hires these kind of kids that are pickpocketing to hand out these little presents, and they're remote-controlled explosives.
Right.
So he's giving them out, and he's just triggering them all over the show. It goes into
As Arkham villains go, that's pretty sick.
It is pretty sick. Pretty sick. But that is, he's kind of he's up there kind of with the Joker and the kind of mania, and he has his own kind of things. There's a bit where he attacks a Jewish guy.
Right.
Which is oh shit. Because you kind of think, he's only really going after people that are naughty. But then he goes, you don't believe in Christmas, you must die. So it's kind of okay, right. So he's a bad person. You can't relate to him that much because he's basically just...
the media would have a field day with that. wouldn't they?
Yeah, murdering.
I'm sure they
Santa murdering Jewish
yeah,
people.
they'd be like, "Is that Corbyn?" No, it's not. Chill out.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not. But yes, so that's basically the adventure. It's very kind of standard Batman one-note story.
Okay.
But it's enjoyable. It's a bit of fun, and I wanted a kind of comic book Santa, something that was a bit different. And I think he triggers the bond, so he is murdering them. The kids are just giving out the presents, and he's murdering. But on that note, I'm going to call for a little break.
Okay.
And we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna come back
to drop off our presents.
We do. Oh, definitely. See you in a little bit, guys.
Alter Nativity Stories.
Okay, we're back after our little pee break. So
you're not supposed to. Don't spoil
the. Sorry, the ambience. Sorry. There was no peeing involved. It was just manly.
We don't pee. We're just here for people's entertainment.
We're just
constantly
disembodied voices floating in the ether of time and space. Ooh.
No, I had a poo.
No, yeah, massive one. I heard it from here. It's good 40 feet away.
Tis the season.
Tis the season to make big lumps of coal. So we're back and we're on.
You'll log.
Yes.
Okay, we'll stop now.
all the holiday themed buffoonery will stop now because we've got business. We got
stuff to do.
Santa related business.
And mine is starting to get good now. Finally.
Thank God for that. Brilliant. Okay, so away you go. Tell us more.
Right. Here's my first properly good one that I'm actually a big fan of.
Cool.
And that is the can't get it out. The Futurama episode. I'm so excited. Xmas.
Oh.
Xmas. However
Xmas.
you want to say it. But voicing the Killer Santa in this is John Goodman.
Amazing. Why has he not played an actual Santa, like a live action one?
Yeah, because physically
he's
perfect. Think he'd fit into that role.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in a family wholesome film.
I don't see why he would. Maybe he has, and I'm not aware.
Maybe he did the robot killer Santa.
And that was enough for
and just thought, I'm done.
Yeah, that's
I peaked.
Okay, I've done my
Santa now.
I can't better this Santa.
Any overweight guy in Hollywood, that's the goal, is to be a Santa Claus at some point.
I think so. I would like to think so.
I'm not even in Hollywood, and that's my goal, is one day to properly play
I'm slowly
Santa.
Becoming more and more overweight, so I think I'm working my way towards being that Santa.
I actually did a season as Santa.
Did you?
Yeah, about... 6-7 years ago in Australia, of all places.
Right.
And what annoys me is that I'm more overweight now, so I'd look better now. So I look back on photos thinking, just so skinny.
If only I was
rubbish and skinny.
Unless I was more plump.
My breasts would fit perfectly into the outfit now.
And with the bra as well, so perfect.
Anyway, we digress. So there was lots of funny winter Futurama style jokes. There's like a nuclear winter or something that happened, but then because of global warming, it sorted it out.
If only that was true. If only that was true.
The line "Christmas is an archaic pronunciation" tickled me, and that's why they call it Xmas in the year 3000. The friendly robotic company basically made a Santa, and its job was to be Santa and deliver presents, but the programming had an error and his standards are too high. So now he performs like 50 mega checks per second, something ridiculous like that. And he's kind of like this boogeyman figure. They have to put kind of titanium locks on their chimneys and protect themselves.
He's never getting in.
Exactly. It's just such a great, silly concept, and it's delivered in such a kind of great, fun Futurama one-off way. He's got a laser gun, these ball bombs, which are very kind of Green Goblin in style. Instead of a mistletoe, he's got a tow missile. Lots of silly puns like that. And they all sing a song around the campfire at the end. Santa Claus is gunning you down.
Is this the one that features the Hanukkah zombie and is it Kwanzaa bot, or is that another one?
I think that's another one.
I think that's another one.
Is there a Kwanzaa bot in it? I can't remember now.
Because I know there's one where they kind of sing, they all combine and they all sing a holiday song. It's the Hanukkah zombie, the Kwanzaa bot, and Santa,
Amazing.
Killer Santa.
Amazing. But yeah, so that's my choice. I wanted to kind of mix it up as well with like a cartoon, again, like your South Park, a cartoon one. I think these kind of adult cartoons, I think they enjoy exploring that.
I think because obviously,
like
as adults, obviously a bit cynical. So I think that's always comes in. There's obviously you don't want to be that cynical that you don't, get into the spirit, but also, the commercialism and stuff of Christmas can also put a dampener on your mood. It's not always the Christmas time is not always the happiest time for a lot of people.
No, it's bloody stressful.
Yeah, stressful. And just recording podcast this month has been difficult enough for me.
It's because you got me on the show. That's enough to turn anyone grey.
No, it isn't.
And grow a big grey beard.
Stop it.
You're stressed. Maybe that's how Santa was created. He was just stressed. So his hair went grey and his beard went grey and he grew it out, stopped looking after himself, got fat.
Food down himself.
He's just given up, so he's throwing all his
wife's left
his shit at people, his belongings, and they're like, "Oh, thanks for the present. It wasn't a present. I'm just done with life."
And then he's like, you know what? I'm going to make slaves out of these elves.
Yeah.
He turns into a bit of a dick, Santa dick.
If you can take anything away from this Christmas episode,
yes,
Santa's a dick.
Santa is a dick. I read a Flash comic recently, Christmas special, featuring the Flash. This was the Bart Allen version, so Impulse. So it's not Wally West or Barry Allen. So probably only Bart Allen could say this. But he said, "Oh, you realise Santa had like 14 kids and he just abandoned them and to live the life of a hermit. So people think that's why he does Christmas. That's why he gives out gifts to kids, because he's a deadbeat dad." I think that's a bit much, Bart. Thank you for ruining
it's
my
quite
Christmas.
A dark version of there's something called Klaus, I guess is the pronunciation on Netflix at the moment. It's beautifully animated.
Yeah.
Wonderfully told.
It's like the origin of Santa.
It's great, but it gets quite dark. With
Does it?
Do you know what? I'm not actually going to give anything away with it, but
cool. I do want to watch it.
Please watch it. He's not a killer Santa, I'm afraid. But just as a side Santa note, watch Klaus on Netflix.
It looks very old school, kind of like almost hand drawn animation.
Yeah, it just looks so nice. It's like an old, it reminded me of Emperor's New Groove quite a lot in terms of its style.
There's what was I going to say? There's a comic book I want to look at, possibly next year, and it's kind of a Santa origin story. It is called Klaus, and it's written by Grant Morrison of all people.
Amazing.
So Grant Morrison is a bit hit and miss for me a lot of the time, and I do struggle when sometimes I'm like, read this. I'm like, I don't want to take. I'd rather take. I
prefer his one shot type stuff. I think when he's kind of. Maybe having to get involved in the politics of ongoing Marvel and DC stuff. I think he's a victim of that. So his one shot.
I liked All Star Superman's great, fantastic, and I think what's the other one I like? JLA, his Justice League run, is fantastic. But I think when he gets weirder and wackier, for me, I start kind of turning off. I think when he gets a bit like, ooh, I've taken too many drugs, and so it's like multiverses.
You need just the right amount of drugs to be a comic book writer. Pretty much.
He's like Alan Moore. It's like the opposite of Alan Moore, but they've done the exact same amount of drugs, but they've just gone the opposite ways. And that's my particular opinion. I've read good stuff from him and I've read bad stuff from him. Final Crisis, to name one, was terrible. But yeah, I'm looking. I think I will read that maybe next year or something. Maybe you can join me. We can read it together. Perhaps
I'll sit on your lap.
Get a big book, open it up. That sounds nice. That sounds lovely. Yeah, could roast our chestnuts again.
It's a date.
So
that's me anyway. Yes. That's my penultimate.
We went off on a tangent there, didn't we?
Went somewhere around the corner.
Get used to those, because that's one of the hallmarks of these podcasts. Tangents, especially like me and Dan Burgess, we go on some crazy tangents.
It's called the podcast Tangents now.
Tangents, yeah, tangential, tangenitals. No.
There you go, another tangent.
I know, right? That's a tangent in itself.
Tangent on tangents.
So, I've got to do another Santa, haven't I? I've got to say.
Yeah, please, Santa. Because I was getting bored of the tangents. So
okay.
Give me your Santa.
All right.
I'm getting...
You're involved in the tangent.
I'm getting anxious now. We're coming to the top Santas, and I need to know.
Right, okay.
Tell me.
So, my number 2 is from a film originally called, I think it was Better Watch Out.
Okay.
But it's known by another title, more famous title, and the title I prefer, which is Christmas Evil.
Right.
And it's Harry Stadling from Christmas Evil. So basically what happens as a child, he sees his mother, his father is dressed up as Santa, he comes back down to sneak a peek at Santa, and he finds Santa, his father, having sex with his mother. And that causes a kind of psychotic break in him, then becomes obsessed with Christmas. Then we kind of flash forward to him as a grown adult, kind of 30s, 40s, and his house is decorated with every conceivable Christmas thing. He's opening the calendar, he's having, doing a turkey for himself, like all this, and this is before Christmas. This is like before even Thanksgiving. So he's already working towards.
Sounds like my wife. She puts up decorations like mid-November. Freak.
Way too early. What's wrong with her?
She saw her parents.
That was it. That was what triggered it.
It triggered it for me if I saw her parents doing that, to be fair.
Anyway.
God, I hope they don't listen to this.
We mean no offence. We mean no offence. So he's a toy maker. Modern day, he's a toy maker.
Okay.
Modern day from 1980, anyway.
Right.
He's a toy maker, and he works for quite a corrupt kind of toy company. Nobody cares.
They're all corrupt.
Yeah, true.
Hasbro is the den of all evil.
Hasbro, how dare you? So he works for this kind of, and none of the people there particularly like him. He's a bit of a loser. Obviously, he's got some severe kind of mental health issues, and it's very much like the Joker movie that came out.
Right.
It's
which I love.
Yeah, he's very downtrodden. He's mistreated by the rest of the world. He's obviously got problems.
Are you on his side?
Yes, definitely, 100%. Through.
I think that's one of the interesting things that Joker plays with.
Oh, definitely.
The point that empathy changes into kind of sympathy, and and then when something really bad happens at the end, you kind of go all the way back, and then you then detach from that character. So,
and you can empathise with someone without condoning what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's the same thing.
Well, it's the Punisher thing as well.
Exactly, yeah, it's what we've discussed. So this is some interesting dialogue going on in this Killer Santa podcast.
We're exploring now the ethics of vengeance killing.
Anyway, so he finds out.
This is just evidence now. You realise that
pretty much.
This will be on a policeman's desk.
They'll be like, right, get them down here. They need to answer some questions. He goes to the Christmas party. He's been mistreated. One of the workers says, "Oh, I'm feeling a bit ill. Can you cover my shift?" He's like, "Okay, I don't work with toys, but I'm happy to do it because we care about the kids. We care that these toys are quality made." And all these guys are like, "Yeah, you're a loser. You love Christmas. You'll love to stay in them." And he walks past a pub and he finds them working. He's like, "He's a loser. He did my shift for me." So he gets very annoyed.
Do they say that out loud?
Pretty much.
Like Dick Dastardly.
Yeah. Yes, Muttley. And he knows all the kids in the street, and he's kind of spying on the kids, not in like a paedophilic way. He's spying on them to see if they're being naughty or being nice. So he's got like a little list. There's this one kid, I can't remember the kid's name, but he's like, "This is my arch nemesis." And he's like, "What do you want for?" He walks down the street. "What do you want for kids? What do you want for Christmas, kids?" And he's like, they're like, "A pony and an action figure." And this kid goes, "A year's subscription to Penthouse." And he's like, "You little bastard." And he later goes around the kid's house. And
that kid's my hero.
He puts mud on his face and scares the kid, just gives him a jump. He doesn't attack him or injure him in any way. He just kind of gives him a fright, and the kid really shits himself. And then later on, he finds that the company said they were going to donate toys to these orphan kids or these ill kids in hospital.
Okay.
And he's saying, well, looking at the notes here, we don't have enough toys to hand out to those kids or to sell. It's not possible. Why have we made this promise? It's like, yeah, they'll get some toys, whatever, who cares, blah, blah. All these kind of really horrible kind of old school business people, just horrid.
Tories.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly right. Basically, the American version of those, Republicans. So he decides to dress up as Santa, steal all the toys from the factory, or as many as he can, paints a big sled on his van, and he delivers them to the hospital. So the first act that he makes in this film is actually, it's a good act. It's a positive thing. And they're like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I'm here to give the children the presents. And they're like, this is crazy. And there's like, no, take it honestly. Because they all think he's a bit weird to begin with, obviously.
Yeah.
This guy rocks up in a van dressed as Santa.
Anyone doing anything nice in society these days.
Exactly. It is like midnight as well, so it's quite late. So they're a bit like, this is a bit odd. We don't want to wake them. He's like, it's fine. Just take the presents and wake them in the morning. So the first thing he does is really nice, and then he goes to like a party and dances with children, and everyone thinks he's Santa. He's like, glues the beard to his face. But the outfit he's got is really good. It's kind of like a proper fur outfit. It's
we're nice and
it's gorgeous.
We like a nice quality.
It's quality
Santa garment.
Oh, it's gorgeous, and that's the thing. That's how they identify him, like beyond all the other Santas, is that he wears this lovely fur outfit. And he finds one of the guys from work at like kind of midnight mass.
Yeah,
and and straight away they start making fun of Santa. I don't know why, but they're just like dicks. Just Tory dicks.
Tory Christian.
So it's just
dicks.
like, and he goes, I've got something for you. And he goes up to this guy, and the guy's like, I have superlative taste. And then he stabs him in the eye with this wooden thing. I think it's like a wooden toy soldier. And he's like,
wow.
Yeah! Like, and you see,
Things
like,
escalated.
You see, like, it's like, we're talking about penis severing. We're seeing full-on penetration with that wood into the eye. And he starts screaming, blood everywhere. And this is in front of the whole, like, midnight mass church congregation. And he gets this little hatchet out and starts hacking at his head. And he's like, and he, again, like we were saying earlier.
This is the equivalent of the, like, tube scene now.
Yes.
If we're continuing the parallels, that's kind of where I'm at with that.
It's exactly like that. And he's hacking away. And again, we're going back to that naughty and nice thing, that kind of the just and the unjust. And he feels like, he feels that he needs to do this and he's going to get, and he even tells these kids, he's like, you better be nice and not be naughty because I'll come for you. It's like really creepy thing. And they're like, and then he's like, just like a Santa laugh, plays all the creepiness off. But it's really, really good. It's really interesting.
You could say anything you want if you follow it with Santa.
Oh, Santa, what do you like?
Billy.
But there's various other kind of killings, and his brother gets involved, and he kind of knows there's something up with him.
Right.
And I think I'm going to spoil the ending again for this one, so spoilers. Because he starts kind of believing so much that he's become Santa after all these killings and stuff. And he drives his van off this bridge when he's trying to escape all these angry mobs that are chasing him. And he sees himself kind of flying in the air, very much like E.T. or something.
Yeah.
Like the slave.
E.T. had already fucked off by that point.
Exactly,
so.
yeah. That little ball bag's not going to help. He's, it's basically... I mean, he looks a bit like...
What did you just call
I call E.T. the little ball bag.
How dare you?
He's a bit wrinkly, He looks a bit like a ball bag, kind of. I think I offended my boss at work the other day because I said...
You called him a ball bag.
I called him a ball bag, yeah.
Tends to offend people.
Yeah, I maybe I should take that back and not say that as much. But sorry, ET fans, he's not a ball bag. I apologise. It's probably the most offensive I've been for a while. So, anyway,
you're doing a recording with me, so don't try me.
Don't worry about it. So he flies and he sees himself as Santa. He sees himself flying into that thing, and obviously he crashes and dies. And
does he go? Does he have airtime for a little bit?
Yeah.
They give a slow mo shot.
You see it kind of carrying. It's almost like
slowly.
Oh,
shit.
You can't see this because it's purely audio, but we're kind of gesturing how it kind of floats in the air.
Our hands are currently in the van.
We're in there. We're doing almost doing a Lois and Superman thing, flying in the air. But yeah, so Christmas Eve. I think it's, if you like Joker, I think it's something you get an absolute kick out. I
love a film where it's playing with that idea of rebelling against the bad parts of society.
The norms,
it's something we all fantasize about, and when you watch a film, it's kind of an avenue to do that with. And I
think a lot of these films are that kind of thing, like we discussed, and I think you can get a lot of fun out of these. But I think for you especially, I know there's been a recent DVD release. I think it's 88 films have done a recent DVD release, so maybe I'll look at that. Might be something for you. But yeah, there's been several DVD releases. I think it fell out of kind of rights a few years back. It's actually John Waters is a big fan of that film.
Right, the man's got impeccable taste.
Yeah, there you go. So
Let's look at his tash.
I believe if you buy the DVD, he is on the commentary track.
John Waters could be the commentator for Strictly Come Dancing, and I'd still be on board. He could commentate anything.
Commentate anything. He's a very entertaining man. Talented filmmaker in his own right.
Yes.
But it's his favourite Christmas film. He loves it. And I can see why. It's a lot of fun. It does play it quite seriously.
Yeah.
Like, there's not as much humour as maybe something like Silent Night or something like that. But
the way you've described it sounds like it needs to be played seriously.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I really do. There is humour. Don't get me wrong, but it's not at the expense of
French Home Alone sounds like it probably could have been played for laughs.
Yeah, but again, very serious. Bit of humour in there as well. But both excellent films. So yeah, that's my number 2. Christmas Evil. Harry Stadling from Christmas Evil.
Ready for my number 1?
I'm ready. I am pumped. I want to see what, out of all these ones, this slow rise to the formation of your number
don't
1.
Put it on a pedestal too much, because then people will just be disappointed. This is from, anyone who knows me knows that I'm a massive Marvel Comics fan.
Yes.
So I thought it was only right that I bring the finale in the form of a Marvel Comics Killer Santa. So the title for this short story, as part of one of the holiday specials, was Yes, Virginia, There is a Santron.
A Santron. Okay.
A Santron. Story by Jeff Parker, pencils Riley Brown, inks Pat Davidson. Okay. Felt like a nice marriage of work, to be fair, with the three of them. It's very kind of holiday special in the sense that it's never going to go too far in terms of like violence or
it's
content.
Sweet.
Yeah. I would happily give it to a child to read. The Avengers are basically having like a Christmas party. Everyone's got to have the work Christmas party, whether you like it or not, and even the Avengers do. There's a bit of comedy where Gravity, who's like a really rubbish Z-list Marvel character, is trying to get in and he's not allowed in, and he keeps trying, ends up with like Wolverine's claws in his face, which is classic Logan. To be fair,
doesn't like anything.
No,
he's your Scrooge. That's who he is.
Yeah, he's just rude, and he sometimes, bless him. There's a weird exchange with Spider-Woman where basically a few of them finding that, oh, look at that, we're under the mistletoe, and give her a kiss, and it turns out that they had it on a robotic device and are like driving it around the room on the ceiling.
Potentially a bit creepy.
I found it very rapey, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. But she punches them through...
Not very Christmassy.
No, she punches them through a wall, so I felt like at least the writers kind of acknowledged...
All three of them? Was it 3 of them? Or
it's one of those like comic book punches where she kind of swings once and then the whole wall's gone and about 4 people have fallen down. So,
sounds about right.
I'm
pretty sure she like presses like 50 tons anyway. So
it's like what's your power, walls? Demolition Girl.
Smash.
The key plot, which is going on whilst this Christmas party is happening, is that a young girl accidentally makes Santron. So some old decrepit Ultron bits crawl to her front door, and she's like, oh, amazing, I'm making a robot, what could go wrong? Watch the news, bitch, like seriously. And she uses these Ultron bits and creates this Santa Claus robot, and she's obsessed with Santa. She got bullied when she was a kid because she didn't believe in him. Some of these stories, I'm pretty sure that goes on a lot, and not many people went on to either kill people or make robots.
Killer robots.
But anyway, she does that, and it turns out that the programming Ultron has to kill the Avengers hasn't gone, so he heads over to kills the Avengers, and there's lots of very similar kind of robotic puns on like Santa Claus, and the art is fantastic. It's like an Ultron face with this like beard just sat over the top of his stupid little rectangular mouth.
Because like in the comics version, not so much the movie version, it's kind of like a jack-o'-lantern face, doesn't he? Ultron has a kind of
it kind of goes in line, and then that line goes up, and that line goes across and down again. And,
it's kind of like almost like a kind of big hole.
Like a pumpkin.
Yeah, like a pumpkin. I can see it. Yeah.
But it's so that it's great fun, and it turns out that he's defeated by getting a cookie that Spider-Man and Hank Pym had secretly put some kind of
computer virus
thing in, and his programming still means that he has to take the cookie because
he's
even though he's Killer Ultron, he's also Santa, and that's how they defeat him. They then get the girl to come round, because why not invite the girl who nearly murdered you all around? Captain America gives one of his standard rousing speeches.
Yes.
And they all stand by the tree for a lovely splash page.
Yes. And then she goes to prison. She goes to prison and she doesn't make any more Ultrons.
Gets abused in prison by the guards.
So does Ultron actually do any...
And dies when she hangs herself in prison.
Very sad.
This was all in the director's cut.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Dan's just done a dance, which... I'm so thankful you couldn't see.
Yeah, it was awful. Like most of my puns
no one sees that ever again.
Most of my puns. I'm going to just lock that away.
My eyes are burning. George Michael is rolling in his grave. Oh no, that's not George Michael, is it?
I don't know.
Shakin' Stevens. Is it Shakin' Stevens? Merry Christmas, everyone.
I believe so. I thought you meant it was the style of dancing. I was going to say that was more David Brent than anything else.
Oh, it was very Brent. Yeah.
Does Ultron actually kill anybody in the story?
Very good question. Yes. Don't question my choices.
No, I'm not questioning
because you should have done that 5 choices ago.
Probably. But I've been very kind.
I don't think he does, because it's so...
You said
it's such a family... It's such a family comic. I think he scares some people off with some... He tries to kill people. Yeah. So
it's more the intention.
Yeah, let's do top 5... Killer Santas who nearly killed people but were stopped in their tracks.
Yes, cool. So I mean, the intention's there, so that's close enough. He's going to kill.
Yeah.
Ultron, I like Ultron Unlimited, one of my favourite, probably the best Ultron storyline. He kills an entire country called...
I do quite like Age of Ultron, though.
The movie?
No.
The storyline?
Yeah. Not 2 weeks of Ultron... The movie.
No, the Age of Ultron. I quite like
a fortnight with Ultron.
I like Rage of Ultron. Rage of Ultron. It's like an original graphic novel, and it's where spoilers. Hank Pym and Ultron combine finally.
So that's quite recent, that one.
It's very recent, last few years, and it's great. It's really, really good, and it features the opening thing. The opening part is the classic kind of early 80s Avengers, late 70s Avengers, which I really dug. Like Beast is in the lineup, which you gotta love a bit of Beast as an Avenger when he's kind of the ladies' man with Wonder Man. I love that shit. Can't get enough of that. Blue
Wonder Man is such a chauvinist. Come on,
yeah, he's a shit actor as well. I should know that. I am also one.
Inspiration.
That was my whole inspiration.
How have we not had a Nathan Fillion Wonder Man?
Well, we had a poster, didn't we?
Yeah, posters, but I want to see clips or...
Oh, that'd be so good. Just like a clip of him playing Iron Man or something. Something like that. That would be amazing. Good. Anyway, my final...
Drum roll.
Final one is... it is... One that
I couldn't find a drum.
This is one you might quite like because it is a Santa who is also a wrestler or played by a wrestler.
Okay, yes, I'm on board.
So it is Bill Goldberg as the spawn of Satan. Santa. Santa is the spawn of Satan. Santa is a demon who lost a bet with an angel. And
Merry Christmas, kids.
Merry Christmas. And he's forced to be nice for 1,000 years. So I think it's coming up to the millennium and this deal's going to run out and he's going to go around being demonic again. So what he's doing is...
That's such a ridiculous concept, but it's so good.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
So good. It's inspired.
And it's Bill Goldberg.
Yeah, but that part, maybe not so inspired.
Not so great.
Oh, so many wrestlers it could have been. Instead you get Stone Cold 2.0.
Yeah.
In there. To be fair, Goldberg cuts a great promo.
He does.
As long as he doesn't...
acting talent's there.
Yeah. Does he headbutt a wall at any point in this film?
Perhaps. I can't remember. It's been a while since I watched it.
Jackhammer anyone through a table?
I don't think he does any wrestling moves. He does...
Well, that's a wasted opportunity.
He runs a granny off the road.
Okay.
I think there's kind of a stroke of genius that a Jewish man is playing a killer Santa. I think that's...
to be fair.
There's something...
They either really thought that through or didn't think that
at
through
all.
at all.
And I think that's just genius. He even kills one of the only other Jewish character in it. He kills with a menorah. He jams a menorah into his head, pins him to a wall with the menorah. We get his reindeer. I know we've not discussed kind of transportation.
We've not had enough reindeer in this, I don't think.
Not enough killer reindeer.
No.
So he has either, I believe it's a buffalo or it's a bison. bison,
Right.
and that's his only reindeer, and it's incredible. And this is the same buffalo.
Reindeer on roids.
Yeah, it's like if Goldberg was a reindeer. Like it's fantastic. Like, and they even had to lift the bison or buffalo off the ground to do certain shots of them flying.
That's pretty cool. And I don't think I've ever seen that in any other film.
And you never will.
Amazing.
But it's genius. The opening is incredible because it stars Fran Drescher, Chris Kattan, James Caan are all in this opening, and Santa, and they're all horrible.
James Caan had a debt.
Yeah, something. He did something. He did something wrong, and he needs to pay it off. But he
it was either that or suck someone off.
So he comes in, he comes down the chimney, and he murders all of these people. He throws them he gets the carving implements of the turkey, stabs James Caan's hands to the
They are going to run out of Christmas tools. Yeah, eventually.
He gets the star. He gets the star from the top of the tree and throws it like a ninja star. He burns Fran Drescher and throws her into the...
Alright. Say it 10 times really fast.
Fran Drescher. Was that
okay, fair enough. You told me on that one.
I managed to get it.
Classically trained.
Perfect. Pronunciation and projection. So yeah, he just murders, and it's up to the grandfather who was the angel, is now human, and he has to kind of outsmart Santa. And it's just got some amazing lines. One where he rocks up into a strip club and he just goes, hose, 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 and proceeds to kill them all. There's a bit where they're shining a light in his face and he's like, I'm Santa Claus, I'm not fucking Dracula. And it's just hilarious. And it's so tongue-in-cheek.
And it plays it for laughs, right?
It's clearly like stupid, silly. You know, it's really fun.
Which I honestly think is the way to go with these things.
I think, and like we said earlier, it's the only way, and I think it was the only way this film would work. But there's even like the backstory of the bet with the angel is done in like those old kind of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer kind of stop motion animation.
Yeah.
It's done like that.
Okay.
Which is another
What budget did this film have?
I don't know. I don't think it was big. I think it was 2005. But
they're doing stop motion and lifting buffaloes. It sounds pretty big.
It's crazy. They've got James Caan in it. So
made about £10 box office.
Probably. It's in the bargain basement.
The director's mum going to watch. That was it.
But yeah, so I highly recommend this one. It's a lot of fun. It's silly. It's stupid. It's irreverent humour. It's not a perfect film, but I don't think any of the ones we've mentioned are really perfect, especially some of yours.
We're not going to find an Oscar-worthy Killer Santa film, let's be honest.
But they're fun.
One day, I think it's coming.
Yeah.
I think the interest in like Santa's origin and the different...
Krampus was a big success, I know.
Yeah, I enjoyed Krampus a lot, to be fair.
So I think we've got potential for maybe like a really...
You just need to put the good casting. Like the thing is, these days, horror, maybe slasher, things like that, it's getting more mainstream in the sense that it's drawing in bigger names.
Get Out
directors.
Was a huge success.
New Halloween is
huge. I loved it.
Halloween, as a Myers fan, Halloween aside, it's just a good film.
It is, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah,
there you go. Hey, 10 years from now, we'll do another one.
We'll do it. I wouldn't be surprised.
And it'll be a top 10 because there'll be that many Killer Santas.
I'd love to see like a Blumhouse like Killer Santa.
Yeah,
I think they'd smash it. I think
Blumhouse smash everything.
Exactly.
They do,
so I think that's the trick. Get them on it. And I think remake one of these.
Dear Blumhouse, for Christmas this year, all I want is
a Killer Santa movie. Thank you. They
Little
do something
Timmy.
From Little Timmy. P.S. I'm dying. Do it now, quick.
Why'd you have to turn it like that?
I know, sorry. Well, it's this dark. I'm darkly subverting Christmas. That's what we're all about. So that's our top 5.
Yeah, I think we've spread Christmas joy.
I feel it.
We've spread other things.
Yes, all over bread and the room. And yes, it's dirty. Before I go, there's 2 things I want to do.
Okay.
I want to mention some listener comments before we did this. People have made some comments and suggestions.
Okay.
I asked them, what is their favourite film?
We ask people for their comments and suggestions too much.
No?
I don't. No, I'm joking.
Sack them off.
Hit me.
So Michael Chandler has got back to us and said, The Santa from Happy, speaking of Grant Morrison, that was based on his comic book.
Okay.
So it should be on the list. So, well, disappointment. He's not Mike, but thank you for this suggestion. I've not seen Happy all the way through, so I don't know how killer or creepy or weird he is, but I hear he's good.
Is that the thing with the unicorn?
Yes.
The imaginary.
So,
yeah,
yeah,
I haven't divulged.
Yeah.
In
Apparently,
that
there's two
yet.
series. I don't know if the Santa survives into the second series or not, but I will. I think it's kind of like a short mini series.
Well, it got cancelled, so I don't think it.
Oh, did it?
No one survived. That
No one survived.
tale.
Not even Santa. Not even Santa. A fellow podcaster from Twitter. So that was on Facebook. This is on Twitter.
Okay.
So all of the
You're a
social
man
medias-
of many
memes.
media.
Yeah, do I go on them as much as I probably should? Probably not. But 20th Century Geek Pod, so that's at 20th Century Geek Pod, at 20th Century Geek. So he said Santa's sleigh is ridiculous fun, and Goldberg is hilarious in it. So
Right.
there you go.
There's another.
So that was
Someone
my number
else has
one.
watched that film with
Yeah,
you.
one other person in the world has watched that film. Thank you for that. I think
It's more than
my favourite choice.
who's watched these ones that I watched on Amazon.
Yeah, I think 0 people have watched those. I wanted to mention a few honourable mentions that didn't quite make the list. So I'm going to mention Sint, which is like a Dutch film about St. Nicholas as kind of dressed as a bishop, like an undead bishop, going around trying to kill children.
Sounds offensive. I love it.
Yeah, it's very much so. Tales from the Crypt. So the famous story All Through the House. So there's from Vault of Horror as well originally. So it's in the movie, the 70s movie with Joan Collins. Basically it's another home invasion movie with a killer Santa.
I think the Vault of Horror thing was the start of a lot of Killer Santa.
I think so too. Yeah, I think it inspired a lot. And
fascination.
I almost included the TV show version that was directed by Robert Zemeckis of Back to the Future fame and many other films. Christmas film like The Polar Express, that was him as well. Silent Night, Deadly Night we mentioned. Rare Exports that I looked at last year. Highly recommend that as well. That's a Finnish film with kind of demonic Santas and stuff.
How do you have time to go to all these countries and watch the films?
I mean, I just
Flights must cost.
don't have a life mostly. That's how I find the time. And Silent Night 2012.
There you go.
Those are the ones I mentioned. Are you on the social medias at all? So I want to tell where people can
I like
find you.
to stick as an enigma.
Enigma. You like to live off the grid.
I'm a symbol, Dan. I'm not a person.
No, but you're the hero we deserve.
You can't follow icons because we can see you in the bush. Get out.
Get out. We can see you.
I've reported you.
Well, if you want your anonymity,
I'm Ben Crampton. I hope to come back. And I appreciate anyone who is still listening.
Well, yeah, me too.
Who's held on.
I appreciate anyone who's still listening after a year of podcasts of me talking absolute shit. So you can find me on Facebook at Secret Bores. Just put that in the search bar. Twitter, it's at Dan_Bores. Instagram, all one word, Spider Dan Secret Bores, and the podcast is available on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, and many, many more. And don't forget to use the hashtag #PrepareForPrattle. Thank you very much, Ben. You have been a wonderful guest, and I will definitely have you on again soon. Before next Christmas, no doubt.
Thank you. That's all I wanted in life.
And that's all you wanted for Christmas.
It was your approval.
Your approval. Well, and you've got it. 100% you've got my approval. So
Thanks
you
for
very much.
having me.
Thank you very much for your choices. And it's been great. And we'll see you next time, guys, for the continuation of Alter Nativity Stories. Goodbye.